Lions fans. The ongoing saga involving Brandon Aiyuk and the San Francisco 49ers hasn't reached its conclusion yet, with ups and downs in negotiations throughout the week. The retention of Aiyuk is working, as even coach Kyle Shanahan is showing signs of frustration. Detroit Lions fans, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Now, the idea has emerged that the Lions could enter the race for Aiyuk. But let's be real, this idea fades as quickly as it appeared. The reason is simple. The Lions just signed a major contract with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Aiyuk wants something at that level, if not more. It's hard to imagine the Lions being willing to sacrifice draft picks or players that the 49ers would demand in a trade. According to new information from Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network, a deal involving Aiyuk and the Lions, whether in a three-team trade scenario or any other combination, seems highly unlikely. And let's be honest, why would the 49ers trade Aiyuk to a team that's already well-positioned to dethrone them as NFC champions? It doesn't make any sense, unless the Lions decide to make a bold move and invest heavily now. Moreover, it's hard to imagine the 49ers sending Aiyuk to the team that was leading them by 17 points at halftime of last year's NFC championship. Now, the media continues to insist that the Lions should go after Aiyuk. Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports, for example, mentioned that there are mystery teams interested. Putting the Lions on that list, based on what we know, seems like a big exaggeration. The Lions, of course, have some question marks in their receiving core after the top three names. Bringing someone in to relieve the pressure on Jameson Williams isn't an absurd idea. But when it comes to Aiyuk, the truth is that this trade simply doesn't make sense for the Lions for several reasons. And this logic seems to be conveniently ignored in favor of pure speculation. Thinking a little more, the situation becomes even clearer. The Lions just invested heavily in Amon-Ra St. Brown, making him one of the highest-paid wide receivers in the league. The idea of adding another high-cost receiver like Brandon Aiyuk seems somewhat out of reach. Even though Aiyuk has plenty of talent, the fact is that he would be looking for a contract similar to St. Brown's, if not larger, and this would put significant pressure on the team's salary cap. Additionally, the Lions have been careful with their draft picks, and so far, this strategy has paid off. Giving up valuable picks or players who have consistently contributed to the team's success would be a risky move, especially when the return is uncertain. Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network reinforced this idea by mentioning that any deal involving Aiyuk and the Lions seems distant, even in more complex scenarios, like a three-team trade. And there's also the perspective of the 49ers. Why would they trade a talent like Aiyuk to a team that is already a strong competitor in the NFC? Last year, the Lions were ahead of the 49ers by 17 points at halftime of the NFC championship. Sending Aiyuk to a team that has already shown it can compete on equal terms with him simply doesn't make sense, unless the Lions are willing to make a bold bet, something that doesn't align with the more cautious approach the team has adopted. Although some analysts, like Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports, still consider the possibility of a trade, suggesting that the Lions could be among the mystery teams interested in Aiyuk, this idea seems more speculative than based on concrete facts. Yes, the Lions have salary cap space, and of course, there are issues to be resolved regarding the depth of their receivers, especially with the pressure on Jameson Williams. However, when it comes specifically to Aiyuk, the logic simply doesn't support the idea of a trade. The story that Aiyuk would be the perfect fit for the Lions seems more like a fantasy than a tangible reality. For now, the best thing we can do is keep following the news and see how the situation unfolds, knowing that sometimes the best move is the one that isn't made. As a Lions fan, I have to say that the idea of bringing Brandon Aiyuk is tempting at first glance, but realistically, it doesn't seem to be the best move for the team at this time. Amon-Ra St. Brown is already established as our main wide receiver, and investing so much in another elite receiver like Aiyuk could destabilize the team financially. We also need to consider what we would have to sacrifice to make this trade happen. Our draft picks have been crucial in building a competitive and sustainable team. Giving them up for a single player, no matter how talented, could compromise the future we're building. Additionally, the 49ers won't want to strengthen a direct competitor like the Lions, which further complicates any negotiation. And honestly, I don't see why we should be desperate for a receiver right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a rising star, and I believe Jameson Williams has huge potential to grow and shine even more next season. Adding Aiyuk would be great, but at what cost? In the end, I think we should trust what we already have and continue building from there. The Lions are in a good position with a young and promising team. Let's keep on a right path without making impulsive moves that could disrupt our progress. Of course, everything can change, but for now, my opinion is that we should focus on strengthening other areas of the team and trust the talents we already have on our roster.